let's bring up our first speaker. The title, Mentor of Life, Michelle Peticolas, Mentor of Life, for Life.
Have you ever given a speech that radically revised your story? A story of a significant relationship? I did. It was the Toastmaster speech introduction to mentorship. I never had a mentor. I had teachers, trainers, coaches, dictators, micromanagers, and my mom. No mentor. I heard a voice in my head, that inner voice I sometimes miss. My mother, the woman who left me feeling unwanted, unworthy, rejected. She was my mentor. When it came to creativity, I guess she was. She was prolific. She created art every day. I learned drawing, painting, photography, filmmaking. She was a Renaissance woman, putting art into everything she did. She could make a homely person look like a movie star. This shifted my perspective of her. Instead of seeing her as Wicked Witch of the West, I saw her more as Glenda, Good Witch of the North. I never realized that in giving a speech, I could rewrite the story of my mother. Mr. Toastmaster, friends, anyone who has a mother, this is my journey of rewriting and transforming the story of my mother. I began looking at those stories that proved her neglect, such as the time my father saved my life when I went flying down the basement stairs in a baby stroller, catching me in his arms before I crashed to the ground. Where was my mom? And the time a neighbor came knocking on our door. Mrs. Peticolas, your daughter's out in the street eating gravel. It's okay, she's fine. Gravel? And then the time I interrupted my sister talking to my mother. Susie, why are you talking to this woman? Because I'm her mommy, sweetie. Didn't I know that she was my mother? Then I realized these were all her stories told to me by her. Did she feel guilty? A housewife from New Jersey trying to break into the New York toy business industry in the 1950s? Did she worry that in pursuing her passion, her artistic vision, she was a bad mom? Did she feel rejected by me? I saw her in a different light. What courage, what perseverance in order to live and do her work and her purpose. She was a model of empowerment for any age and any time. Often she would say, I want to make $1 million. But your father says, I want 6 kids. Who did the good Lord listen to? It must have been quite a juggling act for her to manage 6 children and her toy design business. She may have dropped a few balls. We children, we learned resilience and resourcefulness. She never abandoned us. In fact, she welcomed us into her artistic projects. Each of us were starred in one of her fairy tale movies. I'm not talking about whole movies. I'm talking about movies that had stories. This was her creative way of making us feel wanted. I helped her finish her last 3 films featuring her grandchildren. But the biggest impact she had on me was when she was dying. I came back to help her finish up business. If you had been sitting in her studio with us, you would have seen me pick up one of her designs. Do you need this anymore? Oh, I guess I'll never finish that project. I froze. In that moment, I got what deadline really means. We don't need to do this right now. Instead of allowing her to express her feelings, I cut her off. In that moment of intimacy with her, I had craved all my life. Was lost forever. Her moment of regret became my big regret. It changed my life. If she, the poster child for living your passion, had regrets, where did that leave me? I heard my inner voice. Time to change my story. I made 3 documentary films, a series, Secrets of Life and Death, to wake you up to your life, your passion, like I did. My films won awards, grants. I gave workshops and began working with individuals, coaching them to change their stories. I wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to make more films, but in trying to get it right, I got it wrong. I lost connection to my passion, my creativity, my mom. I heard that inner voice again. Time to change my story. I had been dismissing her as inadequate, impractical, a hobbyist, because she never made that $1 million. Have you ever valued a person based on their paycheck? I did. My mom had impact, influence. All of my high school friends loved her. I met a woman in San Francisco on a TV show who shared my mom's toys and said they were her favorite. And I found out that my brother was selling her artifacts, paper scribbles, to people, her fans, on eBay. It is time for me to change this story. In dismissing her, I'm dismissing a part of myself. My new story, Mom, my mentor for life. What does that mean? I'm going to put more play, more fun, more creativity, more courage into my work. The real message of my mom, the toy designer. If you have regrets, feel unworthy, blocked in your passion, what's your little voice say? Is it time for you to write a speech and say it with me? Change my story. Mr. Toastmaster.